I felt like I took a trip through time back to the 1990s or early 2000s when I sat down and watched the first episode of this anime called The Fire Hunter. Now, this series in particular, as you can already see on screen, looks incredibly unique. Like, when we think of the normal anime, like just normal animation, normal art of anime, we're used to certain design choices and features of characters, etc., the way the face is drawn, or the eyes are drawn. You're used to certain distinct looks, and you're used to this certain normal, so to speak, when it comes to anime nowadays. And when you come upon an anime that obviously does stuff a little bit different, for instance, to the art and animation, there's two directions it's going to go. Either the community is going to just outright hate it. For instance, Ping Pong the Animation is a good example. I think a lot of people like it, but there's definitely a lot of people that did not like Ping Pong the Animation because it's just the way the art looked. And then you have, kind of things that stick out that have a very different art style, and they just blow up in popularity. And this series in particular is in a weird middle ground. And the reason for that is because I don't think a lot of people have really heard about this anime called The Fire Hunter. It is new, just came out a few days ago. The first episode is the only thing that's out at this time, and it is something that, honestly, I don't think many people really know about. It's just like one of those series that is under the radar, came out of nowhere, and is something that might gain attention and traction as the episodes continue to come out. So let's lay out some groundwork. Let's talk about what the Fire Hunter is, why am I even making a video on it, and also, is this series worth your time? So, we need to look over at who is actually working on this. So, on screen here is my anime list that shows kind of who's working on it, the director, etc. Production IG. A big studio. People definitely recognize Production IG. They're the ones kind of really working on it with other studios here like Wow Wow and Flying Dog. But one of the big things that really needs to stand out is that the overall cast of the series, the people to the voice actors, to like the actual director, there's a pretty big all-star cast here. Like, I want to point out this director here. So this is the director of The Fire Hunter, the anime I'm talking about. This is what he's worked on. Like, you can honestly just see everything he's worked on here. He's worked on quite a bit, quite a few popular series, and quite a few things that may have went under the radar as well, but there is legitimately things he's obviously worked on. I mean, look, he's even working on, Chain Soldier that's yet to come out. So, we know this director is definitely someone that has done a lot. And the overall, like all of the staff is really big. They're really well-known, big names in the industry, but that's the strange part. When you take a look at, the anime, not a lot of people are talking about this. I feel like if there is one anime in particular from this anime season that is not being talked about, it is this anime. I have pretty much seen almost no discussion around the show, and I remember doing my What I Will Watch video a while back, like a week or two ago, and I remember seeing this, like its synopsis and all that, and I was like, yo, this kind of looks interesting, because FYI, this is based off of a novel. Now, when I say novel, I'm not saying light novel, like, what we're normally used to. This is legit based off of a novel, not like a small little light novel, a large novel. And that little detail instantly stood out to me. And you can definitely see by the way this is written, by the way this is presented to the audience, like with the first episode, that it is indeed a novel instead of like a light novel. Just the little ups and downs of like the storytelling, etc. You can definitely see it's a little bit distinct. Now, what is it about? What is The Fire Hunter about? Well, when you look at the name, obviously, you might get a little bit of a hint of what it's about, but even then, it doesn't really give enough away to really understand what is actually going on with this series. So, that's a good question, actually. What is this series? So, The Fire Hunter's first episode has a lot. Like, if you watch it, it has a lot of exposition, it has a lot of world building, it does have some character development for our main female character, and also kind of just how the world feels about her and what happened at the beginning of the episode with this Fire Hunter that died protecting her, and the dog was there as well. We get a lot of stuff, a lot of information to really kind of give us a good understanding if we want to continue watching this or not. And one big detail that obviously stood out to me is that the world is obviously after the collapse of humanity. Now, this is a plot line we have obviously seen time and time again. It's been used over and over in many different stories, so it's not necessarily unique. However, the concept is a really good template, if used right, because there's so many, like, almost infinite possibilities where you could take that story line and do some unique stuff with it. And so when you think about this world, it looks like it's kind of been slightly reset to like medieval Japan, but also it is kind of a little bit modern as well, because we get to see like steam engines, etc. like this. We get to see like a car slash vehicle that is a traveling cart that goes from village to village. So we know that there's some remnants of lost technology that is still being used. We get to see a little bit of broken skyscrapers, etc. We get to see people with like a little bit modern uniforms like you can see here. So it's very clear that they haven't lost everything, but humanity has obviously declined. And the series really wants to paint that picture that humanity is basically, they have lost what they once were. And the reason for this is because what you can see on screen, fire. Now, it obviously plays with the name. Apparently, in some point in humanity's history, they discovered fire that kind of literally burnt them from the inside out, and then it wiped out pretty much all of humanity. For instance, humanity now, if they even get near fire, they just combust. And so, basically, fire is just dangerous. But obviously, anyone that knows any form of history and fire and how important it is to society, not just within the show, but just in real life, fire is really important to create power, pretty much. Like, it's a huge part of just why we're even able to do the things we do in real life. So the fact that, humans had fire kind of turn against them really set them back quite a bit. And so we get a little bit of name drops of little items and stuff throughout this episode, like bottled lightning and all these little things that just obviously are not explained yet, but it definitely name drops a few things to make you wonder what's going on and what's really happening within this world, and what is the true, reason these people are called, fire hunters. Are they trying to, find more fire that won't hurt humans, or are they trying to somehow quell the fire and tame it? It's a very interesting story, because, humans have always wanted to tame the fire, but in a way, can we really tame fire? It's a philosophical slash symbolic, I guess, message, honestly, and I think that the series does a really good job with that, especially with that theme. And so, overall, the story is definitely very... It doesn't tell you a whole lot. Like I said, there is a lot of exposition. Yeah, you get some information about the characters, but you don't really know what's going on fully in this world. Truly what happened. Why is the fire like it is? Why did some humans survive, etc.? Who are these tree folk? Yeah, that's another thing. We had a name drop of these tree folk that is in the forest, and that's not really clarified either. For all we know, tree folk could be elves, another type of yokai slash demon. We don't really know, but it's not clarified. But for, some of our characters wanting to communicate with the tree folk does mean that they're somewhat friendly. So there's not necessarily completely just humans anymore in this world. So there's a lot of interesting things with this show, the first episode, and I really like that. I really love the atmosphere, actually, of this show. And that is something I do want to mention. So when I was watching this, the music really got this very creepy and, I guess, ominous vibe to it. The entire time while you're watching the episode, the music is always in the background, and you always feel this ominous feeling when you're watching, something bad's happening, or something is, we're unaware of something that's really going on, something darker behind the scenes we don't really know, and just the entire episode gives this very creepy effect to it. It does a really good job of that. I think the composer and everyone that worked on the music and the soundtrack, the sound effects, etc., they did a really good job with this episode, kind of building up the atmosphere of just how you should probably feel while watching this. And there's a lot of mystery as well. This little girl, she's going back to the capital, which could take up to 6 months to a few years, and she's going to the capital to bring the sickle of this fire hunter that died at the beginning of the episode, but also the dog as well, that, was with the fire hunter. And this kind of implies a few directions, that either A, she's going to become a fire hunter, or B, she's going to be, let's say, sold off. You can kind of understand, because this obviously is a post-collapse of humanity, and so society probably has changed, become a little bit more dystopian in a way, or I guess more barbaric. I guess that's a better word. So that's always indeed a possibility. Who knows? But the point is that this show, it has a nice blend. It has a nice blend of medieval Japan, or medieval feeling, with a modern day feeling as well. And I think that, Fire Hunter is easily one of the most standout and unique anime I have seen from this season. Like, out of everything. I've watched a lot of anime this season. I might not have put a video on every single one, but I've seen a lot of them. And I will say, like, something that I didn't expect to be that good, it is really good, and it is absolutely an excellent first episode. I would really recommend anyone that wants to watch a new anime and wants to go in blind or whatever, watch the Fire Hunter first episode. It's good. This is a really good first episode. And I love just the way the characters interact with the main female character as well. Like, you know, how they're saying you're wasting fire and all that, you're wasting light, kind of implying how the village really feels about her. Like, this whole scene where she's kind of leaving the village as well. Like, we see a very ominous scene. Like, she looks back as, like, they're leaving, and she sees her family looking at her that she's leaving behind. And we get to see the eyes of the one she's been staying with. You can just see malice and anger. Oh my goodness, this is such a good scene. Easily one of my favorite scenes of the episode. Rin really has just this terrifying look to her. So just, yeah, if you're wanting something new and unique, give this a shot. It might tickle your fancy. That's my 2 cents on the matter. I'm definitely going to continue watching this because I think that the Fire Hunter has potential to be maybe anime of the season if we're not counting continuations, because this was hella good. Hopefully we get more information on the story and the characters, because obviously I'm still a little bit confused, but it really does feel like a unique show. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and I gave you any form of entertainment or knowledge or interest in this show, then do leave me a like. It does help me out a lot, and as always, I would greatly appreciate it. But with that, be safe, stay healthy, Chibi out.